This could unlock the Edmonton Oilers, especially on the back end when it comes to their blue liners and Ty Emberson. We'll cover all that and more today on Oilers Digest. But first, before we get into the news, the rumors, all the breakdowns, make sure to subscribe here to Oilers Digest, as 87% of you have not yet subscribed to the channel. If there's any good time to do so, do it now before the start of the regular season. Lots of news to cover about the Edmonton Oilers as we get ready for October 9th against the Winnipeg Jets in the Oilers season opener, and lots of preseason news heading into the start of October. But a diamond in the rough. Yes, that's what many in the Edmonton Oilers fan base in the media world are thinking about defenseman Ty Emberson, acquired from the San Jose Sharks in exchange for Cody Ceci. The Oilers were trying to figure out the debacle with the whole Philip Broberg and Dylan Holloway fiasco, and they themselves picked up a pretty good, rugged defenseman in the name of Ty Emberson. Now, I'll show you a chart here. I mean, four very familiar names here to Oiler fans: Lee Fogolin, Steve Stais, Jason Smith, and Craig Muni. They all came to the Edmonton Oilers after sort of hopping around with a bunch of teams, whether it be within the NHL or the minor leagues. But Lee Fogolin, Steve Stais, Jason Smith, and Craig Muni. Of course, Fogolin and Smith became Oiler captains eventually. But how does this sort of tie into Ty Emberson? No pun intended there. Of course, all four players are a very similar play style, very hard nosed, and that's exactly what Ty Emberson is. And I think as the Oilers found these diamonds in the rough with all four of these players here, I do believe they found someone with Ty Emberson. I mean, I wouldn't exactly go into Lee Fogolin or Craig Meany. That was a little before my time. As you can see here, the career path of Jason Smith before he came to Edmonton and became a fan favorite as team captain. Of course, drafted by the New Jersey Devils in 1992 and sort of played with New Jersey and the Albany River Rats, heading to Toronto and eventually heading into Edmonton, taking the captaincy from Captain Doug Weight as he left for the St. Louis Blues. Played a few seasons with Edmonton before leaving to Philadelphia and Ottawa. So, I mean, exceptional defenseman in his own right. I mean, led the team to the 2006 Stanley Cup Finals. As you can see here, Ty Emberson. Yeah, again, sort of hopping around here, being played with the University of Wisconsin, drafted by the formerly known Arizona Coyotes, and then his rights were traded to the New York Rangers. Played with the Hartford Wolfpack, and see he kind of had that connection with head coach Kris Knoblauch, so it sort of helps him out in his own right. But very limited NHL numbers: 30 games played, only 10 points in that. But he's not exactly known as an offensive defenseman. Now, when it comes to, Oiler defensemen, of course, well, not everyone is going to be a diamond in the rough, and that's exactly what happened with the case of Nikita Nikitin. Was that exactly a one-off? We're not too sure when it comes to Ty Emberson. Again, very limited numbers. And he was projected to be with Darnell Nurse, the answer to Darnell Nurse there on the second pairing on that right side. And again, it's too early to say that Emberson is the answer to partner with Darnell Nurse on the second pairing. They've only really had experience within training camp and not in any actual game action. Perhaps his game will fall apart as the competition picks up, and perhaps he'll stumble as Nurse's partner, just as so many other Oilers defensemen did last year. Not just last year, but over the past couple years, of course. Not just Cody Ceci, but Tyson Barrie there for 2 seasons. But we will get to one partner that Nurse did have success with, and there's an omen for the future. Kris Knoblauch, about a guy like Darnell Nurse, said Nurse, like so many other blue liners, could benefit from playing with someone adept at breaking the puck out. It's why he said another option could be Troy Stecher. He could be another option next to Nurse, but it is Ty Emberson who has a leg up right now on the most important job up for grabs on the team. And Kris Knoblauch, with a lot of praise for Ty Emberson, says there's a lot of promise with him. Adding on, Emberson's defending is his biggest strength. He counts Emberson's mobility and skating prowess as other attributes. And then there's his puck-moving abilities. From the video I saw of him in San Jose, he took another step, Knoblauch said. Hopefully, he can continue to build off of that. And let's go into the numbers here. Ty Emberson did show well with the San Jose Sharks in a small sample. At 5-on-5, he led the struggling Sharks in goal share, 44%, where he was on the ice for more goals for than goals against, which, I mean, on that awful San Jose team, that is very encouraging. Landed 4th in expected goal percentage, 43%, and played 32% of his minutes via puck IQ, playing against elite competition. There are solid arrows in a small sample suggesting some risk, but very clear potential. And just going here, the one partner that Darnell Nurse had is very he was very successful with was Ethan Bear, and I'm sort of hoping that's what Ty Emberson could sort of provide here. He can clear the puck with ease, and that's exactly what Bear did to Darnell Nurse. Of course, Darnell Nurse, sort of doing his own thing, and Ethan Bear sort of played from a rocking chair, and that's exactly, a guy like Jason Smith, very calm, very collected on the blue line, and that's exactly what Darnell Nurse needs. He doesn't need someone, akin to Cody Ceci, who played like he was always nervous, or a Tyson Barrie, where it was all offense and pretty much no defense. He was only there as a power play quarterback. But all in all, Ty Emberson, when I did watch him play against the Winnipeg Jets live and in person on Wednesday night, he was very calm with the puck, even though he was playing against very elite competition. He was very calm. He didn't show, many mistakes. Of course, there was the one that led to, I believe it was the second or third Jets goal, but again, that was sort of a miscommunication with him and his teammates. I couldn't pin it all on Ty Emberson, but it's very interesting to see what he could do against, elite competition consistently on that second pairing right next to Darnell Nurse. I'm very excited. You can't really get too excited, because of course, the sky could come falling down and, go into with very high hopes and they crash. It's exactly what happened, with a pairing last year, like Mattias Ekholm and Philip Broberg. Of course, many people were hyping them together as these two Swedish defensemen. They clicked, and then Ekholm went into training camp with an injury, much akin to Darnell Nurse heading into training camp with an injury, and that chemistry never really formed. But it is time for training camp trimmings. Yes, the Oilers did make some moves when it comes to trimming their roster leading up to the season opener against the Winnipeg Jets. Of course, they still have 4 preseason games left, so you won't exactly see a full NHL roster in the next 1 or 2. Maybe I could be wrong. Kris Knoblauch is sort of, easing everybody back into it. Of course, against the Winnipeg Jets, only 4 NHL regulars did play against the full Jets NHL team. But we have yet to see. As you can see here, the training camp roster, I did add the cuts there. You can see Connor Corcoran was released, not released, went back to Bakersfield, I want to say. Noah Hofemeyer, Alex Kanek-Leipert, Max Wanner, and then on the goalie part, Brett Broku and Nathaniel Day and Connor Unger. Of course, there are some injuries that the Oilers are facing with the training camp roster, and they haven't been released just yet. But the forwards part, still lots of names here with the forward training camp roster. You can see some notable names being cut there. Jaden Gruby went to Bakersfield. William Nickel went back to London of the OHL. Matvei Petrov went back to Bakersfield. But there's still some names that have still impressed me on the training camp roster. Like Sam O'Reilly had a really good game against the Jets, centering the line of Janmark to his left and Connor Brown to his right. Noah Phillip, like I mentioned yesterday, tremendous. But we will start to see some more cuts later on. Like I said, still 4 more preseason games left. And the combined cuts leaves the Oilers with 41 players in camp, including 4 goalies, 13 defensemen, and 24 forwards as per Bob Stauffer of Oilers Now. 5 players are injured, and those are players I did not cross off, including Evander Kane, who just had surgery, Bo Akey, Roby Arventi, Brady Stonehouse, and Carl Berglund, who suffered that injury in Penticton, while Raphael Lavoie is day-to-day. But he was skating. Of course, the morning skate against the Winnipeg Jets, he did skate, but he obviously did not play. When it comes to preseason, you have some questions, like when are we going to see Nurse and Emberson together? Though Nurse said he's unsure if he'll play in the exhibition games, Kris Knoblauch expects him to suit up in at least a couple ahead of the regular season opener against Winnipeg on October 9th. That does mean Nurse and Emberson and other potential partners for the longtime Oiler will be trying to develop chemistry away from game action for at least another week, so it's certainly not helping their case at all when it comes to trying to develop chemistry, not in a training camp session against your other teammates, but against actual NHL competition. And here are the 4 preseason games left. Tomorrow night against the Seattle Kraken, Monday night against the Vancouver Canucks, and then Wednesday and Friday they travel to Seattle and Vancouver. And you can see 2 games you can watch on Sportsnet. So finally, hockey's back on TV. That means the fall has officially arrived. Let me know down in the comments what you think about the dog days of the preseason. Anyone that is impressing you, anyone that isn't impressing you, and what are your thoughts on Ty Emberson? Have yourselves a fantastic day and a fantastic weekend. I'm Matt.